Stealing strength. So, these are all of the new spells and abilities that I have added this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26, 47, 48, 49, 57, 58, 59, 60. Actually, these are 52. Yeah, there's two right here. 62 new class options. Bunch of different spells. A lot of new magic abilities. One combat ability. You know what? I'm just gonna do the update video right here and now. So the first thing is we've had some major updates for this game this week. I changed it where characters now get a minimum of 4 skill points each level, or an amount equal to their intelligence score, whichever one's higher. I think it's going to make it a little bit more balanced. Like I like the idea of having a higher intelligence. It's going to give you that bigger bonus to your skills every single level. But like characters like bards and rogues are highly skillful characters and might maybe not be the most intelligent characters, so they kind of need some kind of upgrade like this. I'm gonna stop the music now, and then in the YouTube video we are gonna add some music right now. Okay, so that was like the first major update. We're gonna get to like the big one that I think is gonna, it might curl some toes when I tell you, but second thing is armor is now 10 plus the armor you're wearing and your dex, instead of the armor setting it to a certain amount, because before it was a little wonky. This leaves room, more wiggle room for updates and whatnot, so it just makes it a little more cleaner, and this is how traditionally the RPG system has done it. I don't know why I was thinking about why I did it differently, but traditionally this is how you do it. Attribute system. Now this isn't the one I was specifically mentioning, but this one as well could curl your toes just a little bit. So we changed how the attributes work. Yeah, right here. Okay. So you begin with 7 points to distribute now. And similarly how it was last time is you can give yourself a negative and a score to add points that you can use elsewhere. You can still do that. But now, instead of having like a list of numbers and depending on like how high your attribute is and how many points you need to spend to increase it, I made it simple, just 1 for 1 until you get past like, I think I said it, yeah, 13. Once you get 13, which is like level 10-ish, you can get to a 13 score by level 10. Then it's going to be 2 points for each increase you want on that attribute. And also I kept it where you have to get a attribute to level 5 before you slow down on the increasing. So you can increase the attribute as much as you want till that point, then it's only 1 point per level. I did the math. You're losing out like on a few points early on, but later on you're going to probably be gaining a lot more, which I think is fair. Like instead of there being like this really fast progression and then it's, you know, dips down really hard, you have a steady train. Is how it's going to go for you. You know, like it'll slow down a little bit once you hit to level 10, which is kind of fair, but it's not gonna like kind of stop you in place. You know, you're still going to be getting a few attribute increases every single level, or like 2 to 3 depending on what level you get, but it's not going to be like where you're waiting on a level to increase one single attribute and like holding points until that level comes, which I think it is going to help out a lot, because I've always been worried about like your lower attributes, like if they're ever really going to get increased. This should be a way to help fix that though, so I'm excited about that change. Now the one that I think is going to make your toes curl, I changed the way receiving uses on spells and class abilities work for short rest and long rest. For short rest, most spellcasting classes have an affinity which allows you to regain uses on a short rest. That affinity used to be half of your SEA score. You could receive it back on one short rest. Now it's only going to be half your level in that class, which is actually pretty huge, because at level 1 you have a 4 in an SEA, so now you're only receiving 1 back on a short rest instead of 2, and you know that scales. You know, so it's like half of what you're getting. In addition to that, instead of receiving all of your uses back on long rest, you're only going to receive as many as equal to your SEA score, your spellcasting attribute score. I did this in a way to create a sort of an economy on your spells. It gives your party and your characters something to think about whenever you're actually using these spells, and you know, it will force your characters to kind of like maybe sometimes spend a whole day resting instead of 2, you know, and it makes sense because you're exerting yourself to such a level where like sometimes what's best for your body is to just chill out for a day, you know what I mean? So a long rest is 8 hours, a day is 24 hours, so like sometimes like if you run a marathon the next day, like you're out like the whole day, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be an interesting addition to the game, and I think it's a fair addition. It gives you something to think about, and honestly I like it. I think if I played a spellcasting class and this was a rule like in a different game, I would actually enjoy this rule, but I do like the more difficult aspects of the game. So and the last major update I have here is we reworked the Scraps of Wildcraft weapons and armor to make it a little bit more easier and manageable. Actually, let's go over to my notes so we can see it. So this is what the Scraff looked like before we did that for the wildcrafting ability. I thought I did all of it. That's okay. So, sorry. This is what it looked like. We had like set weapons and stuff that you can create, the DCs, necessary items that you need for your harvest checks to be able to create these weapons, because wildcraft armors and weapons are created by harvesting natural materials and magically turning them into something that you can use. So instead of making it so strict where you need like certain things, and also I got rid of all this stuff to the right for these items, because you can go over to the item section and see that, and obviously a basket carries objects, so I don't know why I told you that, but just trying to be thorough. So we turn it from that to looking like this. Scroll. So your one-handed and two-handed weapons, you just need a specific harvest check. Your one-handed and two-handed melee weapons also, you can call them a sword, you can call them a club, you can call it whatever you want. The only thing is like whenever you go create them, you have to specify what type of damage it's going to be doing. So bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, depending on like what you want. And it can. My idea was like, you know, when you think of like a tribal kind of like person who's creating these type of weapons, like sometimes your weapon that you're using or your tool that you're using to defend yourself, it looks like a hybrid between a club, axe, and a sword. So like what would be the name for that? So now you can create it whatever, you know, whenever you're making your weapons, like your character can just turn it into anything they want. I did get more specific for everything else, but that's because it's kind of, I don't think you really have that kind of range of creative freedom with armor and your ranged weapons. And also I kept all the items because these are useful items, but I also specify, like, this list does not collect the total amount of objects this craft can make, only a basis is where to start. You can work with your GM to make different objects akin to what's listed below. So have fun. If you want to make I don't know, silly things, just make silly things. That's completely up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much like the biggest updates that we had for the game this time around. I nerfed some things. I added 62 new class options, which is pretty huge. It gives people a way wider range of detail, and I really hope if you're a player and you're watching this video that you explore more of the abilities, because I think that's really gonna help you personalize and make your character unique. Same thing with the traits, but you know, the abilities are just there for the taking. So like, go, like, you don't have to worry about your spending your 1 point towards that you get every single level like you would a trait or training. You can just go look at the abilities and be like, yeah, I got illusion magic and I have, you know, flanking. Like, this seems like a cool ability, let's do it. I have so many ideas for different advanced classes that I really want to make videos on and kind of showcase, like, highlight what the goal of this game is about. I don't know if people really understand that, and I don't know if I've really explained it that well so far. So I think that will be important in me helping to try to explain. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, I appreciate you. If you're here in the stream, I appreciate you. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. It goes a very long way into helping me grow this channel and whatnot. Also below is the Discord. You can join anytime you want and help play test it, or, you know, just join the community and hang out and talk to people about different stuff, role playing and fantasy related. But yeah, thank you for taking your time to watch this video, and have a great night.